Hello, everyone. My name is Sean Hendricks, and I'm the co-host for Cave at Autodesk University this year. And I've been doing a series of videos interviewing a number of the speakers that are going to be speaking at the sessions, just to give people a chance to understand a little bit about what they're going to be doing. And today I have with me Neil Blevins, who's going to be talking about the class that he'll be doing. How you doing, Neil?
Hello.
So Neil's been known for many, many years in the 3ds Max community as Soulburn 3D online. That's been kind of the handle on the website he's run through. Of course, he also has his own professional life that he does outside of that. So Neil, why don't you give everyone just a little idea of who you are?
Okay. I'm an artist that was born in Montreal, and once I finished school, I moved down to California. My first major professional job was at Blur Studio down in LA, where I did video game cinematics and ride films and some feature film type stuff. Then I moved up to San Francisco 11 years ago, and I've been working at Pixar ever since. And I've been doing I've done effects work and a lot of sets and environment work and some previs type work as well. Then on top of that, personally, I do a lot of side projects, just personal art and that type of stuff. So I do lots of robots and aliens and alien landscapes and that sort of thing. And then I also do tutorials that I post on my website, dealing with a lot of the things that I deal with in my own artwork. And then I also have a series of scripts for 3D Studio Max and Maya that I've written that I give away and people use in a bunch of different areas. So yeah, and that's mostly what I do. And I always love doing the personal stuff and the side stuff, but obviously there's not enough time to keep it going all the time. But at least I love doing it, so it's something that I try to find time for anytime I can.
Yeah, it's just a matter of paying the bills. There's that little niggly bit at the end of it all.
Yep, and of course, the wife and kid as well.
Oh yes, that life.
Yes, exactly, real life.
Oh, shocker. So for the class itself, what's your focus going to be? What is it that people can expect?
So the two big things, first of all, the class is going to be about texturing pretty much every single type of object except for photoreal humans. There's a lot of people who are really good at that. It's not something that I tend to do. So I'll be covering hard surfacey type stuff from buildings and robots and vehicles and that kind of thing. And then some organic stuff as well, stuff like plants and rocks. So I'll be taking a variety of these different types of models and texturing them in class in front of the audience. I'll also be focusing mostly on stuff that does not involve UVs. In general, I found that there's been a big push over the last little while that everything should be done with UVs. We'll UV absolutely everything, and then we'll paint on top of that, which is fine in many cases, but there's lots of times when that's just not appropriate. Like if you have 100,000 objects and you have an afternoon and you have to get something textured, setting up UVs on that is just not the right way of going about doing stuff. So I'm going to be discussing a whole lot of techniques, UV-less techniques, as well as some UV techniques to show how to go about texturing large numbers of objects.
Perfect. Now, are there any tips or tricks you could supply people to give you a better idea of what it is you'll be doing in this class? Any extra little tidbits?
One of the techniques that I use a lot, which many people know about because it's on my website, both educational-wise and also script-wise, is the blended box map. Many years ago, inside of 3D Studio, there was a plugin called Instant UV that did something very similar. The idea of a blended box map is you have a six-sided box, which is projecting a texture onto a surface. However, the edges are blurred, so you don't get hard seams at the edges. Instead, it's all blurred together, and it's really, really useful. But then the plugin got discontinued and has been discontinued for a really long time. So I wrote a series of scripts that allow you to do this inside of 3D Studio. Other people, once they saw it, they actually wrote versions that also work in Maya and XSI and whatnot. And my hope is still that one day it might be integrated into the base package of 3D Studio. Not my script, but I mean a real blended box map plugin. But until that happens, I'll be showing off using that technique and also cubic projections and a whole host of other things to, again, really, really quickly set up textures onto a very large number of objects.
Perfect. Now, for this class, I know you use 3ds Max, obviously, in your home projects, but you're obviously, if you're working at Pixar, you're also using Maya on that side of things.
Yep, and a bunch of proprietary stuff.
Of course, the usuals.
Yep.
Now, for people watching this, going to this class, is it a prerequisite that they be 3ds Max artists, or will people coming from Maya or Softimage be able to get something out of this class as well?
Oh, no. I'm sure that people one nice thing about using multiple pieces of software is that you realize that everything really, to some extent, is the same. It's the same techniques. I'm using similar techniques in all kinds of different pieces of software. So while the examples that I'll be giving, I'll be showing 3ds Max, I'll be doing some Mudbox stuff, I'll be using V-Ray as my main renderer, but the exact same techniques can be used in any 3D package, any paint package, any renderer with just slight modifications to, if something's called something a little bit different, or you can do this one thing in one, but you can't do it in the other, but it's a small thing. Generally, you can do almost anything in all the different packages. So I would recommend that no matter what you use, you'll get something out of it. Although obviously, if you're a Max or Mudbox user, you'll be seeing it in the piece of software that you're most used to seeing in front of you.
Well, thanks a lot, Neil, for coming out and talking about your class. Again, if people want to check out Neil's class, he'll be on the day 2 of the master classes, which would be day 3 of the CAVE program. And again, thank you very much, Neil.
Thank you. Nice talking to you.